to our Tuesday coffee chat. It is 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Rickwin. And we also have Gary here, Michelle, Blaze is here, and Judy. Cindy. Hello, Cindy. Tom Rocks Keto. Hello. Welcome. I gotta stop.
I was gonna say, I was, I was gonna say, we're getting better at the intro. Like, I'm Lindsay, I'm Neely, but we'll never hold a candle to the two crazy ketos.
Accurate. You're not wrong. There's no way for that to be real.
Like they have it down. Like, I mean, they're married, so I guess they should, but they're like on the same.
We're not the same. It's valid.
No.
Also, they have had a couple of years practice doing this at this stage of the game, right?
That's true.
I feel like
that's true. We can't, comparison is the thief of joy. We should not.
We can just aspire to be inspired by them while still turning our own little twist on ongoing life together. Plus, we're not sitting right next to each other. I think that kind of factors in a little bit, right? Just a smidge. Does anybody else agree? Oh no. Yeah, Judy is right.
I should not be blurry.
You are blurry presently. Is your computer on the same internet as your phone?
It is not. This time it is not.
Well,
and I don't know why.
Your phone is having a hissy. Hello,
as long
Sylvia.
as everyone can hear me.
Every time I hear the name Sylvia, I think of that scene in Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey whenever they put on the record, and it's like the duet. Like not the part.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, okay. It's cool. It's a good movie, but it's also not like amazing. So it's fine. Oh, thank you, Cindy.
All right. I can't figure out why I'm blurry, so I apologize.
Okay. Well, the last time it kind of like
Uh-oh. Now I lost you. Oh dear, we're having technical difficulties today.
Am I back?
You are back now, yes.
Oh my word. Trying to change my internet situation and it just throws a fit. Oh well.
Weird.
Okay. Weird. Hopefully it will hold it together, computer and phone and internets. It's gonna be okay.
Seriously.
Oh man. It feels like it's been a whirlwind for us trying to get back into the rhythm, even though it's been a couple weeks now since we've returned home from the KetoCon.
Yeah.
Does it still feel like that for y'all?
Yeah, it does. And we're like right on the brink of summer. So it's like trying to get back into the rhythm of school. It just seems like, why are we doing this? Especially when the weather is nice. It's like, I just want the kids to be outside. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Yes. We reworked things in our scheduling, and fortunately we will be all finished with actual book work this Friday. Like we'll have met the end of our curriculum. Everything will be wrapped up with a bow on it. It'll be great. And then I'm already having to I don't know if this happens to you, but at the very end of a school year, I start thinking, I need to start figuring out my curriculum plans for next year so that I can get those ordered in.
I don't do that.
Oh, I get so, I'm like, I need to get it all figured out right now so that I can get it in my possession right now so I can organize it and put it together right now so that I don't have to think about it come like late August, early September.
Well, I put it off until the last minute, so that's what I do.
That yin and the yang thing, I guess, is working. We're not twinning in everything. Speaking of twinning, though,
not everything.
We twinned pretty hard on putting out the video of the Keto IQ ketone shot.
Yeah, so I posted my video and then I was working on the description and then I pop over to my subscription feed and her video's right there at the top. And I did the math and she posted hers 7 minutes before I posted mine.
And I mean, we both knew that we were going to be trying that because we had both gotten one of
Mhm.
those ketone shots. But like beyond that, we had no communication about this is what we're going to do. Let's plan to do this.
Yeah.
Or it was
It's ketone IQ shot day.
apparently, this is how we know we twin. We do the things without communication and it just winds up being the same. I wish we could say we planned that, Cindy. It was literally coincidence.
That was amazing. Okay, speaking of the ketone monitor, I
Yeah.
told you guys last week that it popped off like what 6 days early or something like that, and I was very disappointed. Well, Sibio reached out to me on Instagram, and they wanted to know like the details because they're trying to improve their product. So they're like, we want to know, all the details so that we make it better, which is amazing. And then they also offered to send me another one. So they're going to be sending that. They said it might take a while because of the long distance. I assume they're somewhere in Asia.
Yeah.
So I don't know when I'll be getting it, but apparently they're going to send off another sensor. So I will have another chance to. Because
Yes.
I'm not going to, waste any of those moments, And they did say that they have a patch, but they had forgotten to give them out at KetoCon or something like that.
Well,
So
and it
I'm
seemed
glad
like
about that because the patch just seems really important.
yeah, it seems like it was definitely like samples that they were really pushing at KetoCon. Like here's this thing. It's brand new to the market, so there's obviously going to be um,
Yeah.
opportunity for feedback, right? And as soon as you said that yours had popped off, and the fact that I had had that same experience with my CGM, I was like, I'm not leaving it to chance anymore. So I got sports wrap from our first aid kit and I wrapped my arm, and it was uncomfortable to
Yep.
say the least because trying to get it just the right tightness, but not like so tight that you cut off the blood vessels. It was a thing. But I had no problems with it staying, and I felt so much more peace of mind
Okay.
about not bumping it off because I had
Yeah.
done. And when it came time for me to peel mine off, mine actually, like, it was a little bit painful to peel off. The adhesive was still
Really?
so rock solid on it that I was like, all right.
Oh.
I feel all
Yeah.
right about that. I I also
Yeah, I am always surprised with how well the CGMs, like the adhesive, it's like
can hold.
how, because you don't want it to be permanent, but you
No,
want it to be permanent until you want to take it off. And then like, so the way that they have figured that out, I don't know anything about it, but it's impressive.
it is very impressive. I also had a conversation with Sibio on Instagram.
Oh, good.
Can I just insert a little side note right here? I got off the Instagrams back in 2020. It was just a
Mhm.
huge time suck for me. I have limited ability for self control. I'm an extreme person, right? So going through and trying to not like, it was just easier for me to just sever all ties from Instagram. However, after the KetoCon experience, I realized just how much of an opportunity there is to connect with people on Instagram. And I can definitely control how I communicate. Like I can practice self control to a certain degree. So I am presently back on
Mhm.
Instagram as long as I can practice putting it in its proper place, right?
Right.
So I talked to SciBio on the Instagrams as well, and they said that they've been watching my videos, and I was like, me,
Hey.
like me, and so
Yeah.
they said that they might send me one as well, and I was like, that would be awesome because there are so many different tests that I didn't have time to get to because there's just such a huge plethora of options to be able to choose like, how do you
Yes.
test? How do you do this? Like, the 3-day sardine challenge, there was no time for me to be able to actually
Yeah.
execute that along with other things. So I'm looking forward to a new opportunity to possibly test
Yeah.
another one out.
And I like what you said. I don't know if you said it on a video or in one of our Marcos, but you were talking about testing things that you would actually do in real life. Because I mean, we could we could go on a 7-day fast and we could get our ketones up, or, we could drink ketone shots all day and get our ketones up. Like there are ways to do it, but I'm more interested in the lifestyle changes that are actually doable and sustainable. And to find those things, it just takes time. So I've been thinking about the whole ketone thing because I have been so off the grid of testing ketones for so long, because I did it way back when, and had to starve myself to death in order to see these numbers that were apparently magical and made you feel like a superhero. And I was like, well, I don't feel like a superhero. So I like put that on the back burner. And I feel like you don't need to do that in order to get healthy and to make good changes and to be on a keto diet. Like that's not necessary. And I feel like with the blood ketone, like test strips, like you can make progress in figuring out what helps you get your ketones higher using that, but it's really difficult. It's expensive and it's just difficult because you just get that one measurement there at that one point in time. But I feel like with the so because of all of those things, it's like it wasn't worth it to me to try to chase ketones because of how difficult it was and just almost impossible.
Yeah.
But with the continuous ketone monitor, it like makes it so much easier. And so it's like opened this door to me, like, because of this technology that makes it easier to just see all of the details of what all of your diet and lifestyle choices do, then it's like, oh, well, if it's easier to chase ketones, then maybe there is a place, or like it's something that I could do. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
When the opportunity presents, it's not necessarily what you would do, but it's like the whole world of opportunity is available. What could I do that is extreme for the sake of entertainment almost? And that's also kind of how I felt about it. Like, oh man, I could really go and run the gamut with these. And the fact that I can test things overnight, like that was really something that lit my brain up over this 2-week trial with it. I really wanted to see how can I manipulate the numbers overnight? What can I do that I would actually still do regularly, or that is something that I would actively consume, but maybe time it differently? And the ketone blood meters, I love mine. I truly do. I appreciate the knowledge, the pinpointed snapshot right then and there. And I still have that in a spot in my arsenal of tools, right? It's still actually a useful tool. The CKM, I feel like it just offers that overnight information. And I like the number one takeaway for me, I need to like actually wrap up my last couple of tests and be able to put them out onto my channel here. But the number one thing that I was able to pinpoint was that exercise helped me. And the second thing I was able to pinpoint was my cortisol release is pretty consistent for me, which explains why I wake up so easily around the same time every day. My body is very much so like a German train schedule. It will do its thing when it does that. And it's just great to have that knowledge and to see, the value I saw with the CGM was seeing how stress affected my glucose. I knew what foods typically did roughly, but seeing that stress response on a graph and having that knowledge was great. Seeing my cortisol, I mean, we can't test cortisol on our own at home. So it's an assumption and kind of like
but it's a good assumption.
An extrapolated
educated guess.
Yeah. So being able to look at that and say, okay, cortisol generally hits right here. That's fantastic. My ketones did actually rise most nights, but there were different things that I would do over like before going to bed that actually some nights they flatlined and other times they skyrocketed. So it was definitely.
I did notice on some of my last days with it, there were some nights where instead of just flatlining, I stayed in the same like 0.2 to 0.5 range that I usually am during the day. But I couldn't pinpoint what it was that I did that made the difference. Right. But yeah, I'm really going to like plan out
Yeah.
a 2 week. I'm gonna have to do a sardine something or other. You did a day of that, or at least a meal of that, right?
I sure did.
Yeah.
And
And has that been posted yet?
I think I've got that one scheduled either today or tomorrow to go live. So,
Okay. Okay.
or to
Well,
be
we'll be
like
looking forward to that.
viewable. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
definitely test that out. That was one of the things where, because of you not, not
Sorry. I'm so
having
sorry.
not having that full span of the 2 weeks, I really felt called to just pick up that torch and keep
Yes.
running with it.
Good. Good. So the other thing that I am really interested in, and this is where my brain goes typically, and it's a little bit different than a lot of other like diet groups, although there's some. Anyways, I think about cycling because people are
Yeah.
like, oh, you need 80-20 fat to protein. You need, super high protein, low fat. And I think, why can't we like get all of the benefits from all of these things by like somehow cycling through? So I'm like, what if you did a lean day, then a sardine day, then, like a higher calorie regular day, then you do a fat fast, then, like what?
Yeah.
And the THM diet does this.
Yeah.
They're very much cycling, and they have like the fuel cycle thing. So there are some groups out there that do,
The value add.
burn fat, but I feel like, so it's like people will, with any diet, they'll be like, this is the good best diet, and if it's the good best diet, then you should eat that way all day every day forever. And like our metabolisms and our bodies, they thrive on, or they respond, I should say, to change. And so I'm like, there's got to be a way to harness the good things from all of these different approaches, like having lean days where you have high protein, where you're getting all the benefits of that, sufficient protein, but then also getting the high fat days where you maybe get your ketones up because you pull your protein down a little bit. And
Yeah.
so it's like, just because, this particular approach gives you good benefit, like for example, eating 80-20 gives you high ketones, we don't have to like have the mindset that because it gives me good benefits, I need to ignore all of the negative things that it could do. Like that's where my mind goes. And so I'm like, so
Yes.
I see the benefit of getting higher ketones on some days, doing maybe an 80-20 or a fat fast. But then I also see that that could be detrimental long term if you're keeping your protein that low continuously. Then I see having your protein high and having your fat low gives your body the chance, for some people, to burn your own body fat. But I recognize that if you do that for a long period of time, that's going to be detrimental as well. So it's like how can we take all the little pieces from all of these things and get the benefits from it, but not allow the negatives to come from doing it for too long?
Right.
So anyways, I think that's something that the ketone monitor will help me with. It's like, because I do think that there are great benefits to your brain and all, like, to your whole body for being in ketosis,
Hmm.
from being in ketosis for certain periods of time.
Hmm.
Whether it's best to be in like deep states of ketosis like continuously, I don't really know. But I do think like I'd like to be able to get into deeper states of ketosis sometimes and
Sure.
to use the CKM in order to figure out how I can control those numbers, I think
Yeah.
would be super valuable. So anyway,
Absolutely.
that was a rant.
Absolutely. I definitely sit in the camp of not one way is going to give me the results that I want if I do it in perpetuity. Like, it's not going to do that. Our bodies are highly adaptive. We hear this all the time from people. If you start reducing your calories from 2000 down to 1800 for, a few weeks, then all of a sudden you have to reduce your calories
Right.
even further to see more results. So it's very
Yeah.
very well documented that we do need to change it up as as frequently as we possibly can in order to give our bodies some new input to be able to change that output. And so I think that would be a really great way to do that. And given that there are 14 days, I wonder if you could change it. Like, I mean, how many different options would you have? Obviously, lean day, baseline day, fat fast day, sardine day.
Mhm.
You know, like you
For
could
science.
for science. I mean, like with just those four, like you could do 3 rounds of those four things and then have 2 spare days. So on the front end, you could say, I'm going to eat like a baseline day. And then on the back end, eat a baseline day. That way you still have your body like being nourished and everything. Or maybe you
Yeah.
do like high protein and high fat. I found that my numbers also responded really, really well to high protein, high fat combo. And
Yeah.
another thing I noticed was that I could not produce ketones at a high rate or a high number on the interstitial fluid, even though I was very low in carbohydrates, like total carbs,
Yeah.
very low. And I
Yeah.
know that there were a lot of questions in my comments about, or not a lot, but there was enough questioning like, I don't know how you can possibly not be reading in nutritional ketosis if you're not eating all those carbs. And
Yeah.
I think because my body has been part of this way of life for so long, it's just extremely efficient. And there
Yes.
is a video that Joe and Rachel did. Joe talks about during fasting, his ketones would drop and his glucose would rise, even though he's not putting
Yeah.
anything into his body. So I do notice that being my experience as well. So it's just one of those
Yes.
things where getting that n=1 data can really do a lot for you to be able to decide I'm gonna, be more sparing with my lean days, or I am on a good trajectory for me the way I am right now. So I'm just gonna keep on cruising right here. So there's a lot to be gleaned from one of these things. And I don't think you need it all the time at all. Like you learn
No.
your information and then you take a break from it and you try to apply that information. And then, maybe 6 months to a year later, you try again. Um,
Mhm.
I do really want to try back-to-back sensors so I can get a full 28-day cycle in there, because that's another factor for both you and I that we could consider as just a
Yeah.
flat out test in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, I know that my blood glucose is different throughout, my
Hmm.
cycle month. And so why wouldn't ketones be
Also
similar?
cycle
Sure.
a little bit, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So I still have, I think I may have like 3 videos that I still have like tests on, a sardine one. And then I
Okay.
went ahead and I tested out some exogenous ketones. I tried out like the ketone IQ thing. Like, that was a moment, wasn't it?
Whew.
Like
Yeah.
I could not do that
But it's
again.
pretty satisfying to see the number go up. Like,
I felt like
I haven't been able to do that at all. And so just to see it, I was like, oh, the monitor works.
the monitor totally works. And I saw greater benefit from eating beef and butter and a keto chow made with butter than I did from that actual ketone shot. So
Okay, okay.
that kind of situation was like, okay, like exogenous ketones, they are impactful, but
Mhm.
I also get amazing results from beef butter keto chow made with butter. So that was good information for me. But I did go ahead and I tested out Perfect Keto Base as well. I thought I had
Okay.
another brand in my cabinet, but I did not. So I was going to test a couple of different exogenous ketone brands against themselves or against one another, but I only had Perfect Keto Base as an alternative exogenous
Yes.
ketone powder. So I do have that one coming up.
Okay.
Hopefully I can get that all rolling out. I
Yeah.
wanted to add in here really quickly. Perfect Keto is having a sale, and it's their Mother's Day sale. Buy one, get one 40% off. So if you do need things, you can go ahead and get a little bit of savings off of that. There's a link for mine down below. I know Neely has a link as well. If you wanted to use either one of our links, we would be most honored by your purchase
Yeah.
choices. But if you don't need anything, do not buy the things.
Yes.
And if you want to choose to go with somebody else, I respect that. So if
And
if you
I'll also throw in whenever they have a sale where a coupon code is not required, try putting in one of our coupon codes and seeing if it will give you like the stacked discounts. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. So it's always worth a
Worth
try
it.
to throw in a coupon code if you don't have a specific coupon code for the sale, which I don't think this one does. So
It
try
did
it.
not. Mm-mm.
Okay.
And it goes
Yeah,
through
definitely try
Mother's
it.
Day. Yeah.
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 So just wanted to throw that out there. I know a lot of other people, they also have their codes out there, or not codes, their links out there. So there's
Yes.
loads of ways for you to save money
Support
if
the
you
people
want.
you love.
Support the
Yes.
people you love. 10 out of 10
Yes.
agree. So I just
Yes.
thought I would throw that in there really quickly. Okay.
Yes.
We have
Real quick, I did try the Dr. Boz ketones
okay.
raspberry lemonade. Okay, so I know that the ketone IQ shot is, I'm pretty sure it's ketone esters,
Okay.
and then those are more rare to find. So that's one of the few that does the ketone esters, and those are like apparently rocket fuel. And you guys saw in both of ours, it put our numbers up higher than, well, not higher than you've ever gotten, but they put them up.
Did
Anyway,
boost.
and the other ketones like Dr. Boz and Audacious Nutrition and some of the other ones, I don't remember what, they're not ketone esters, they're ketone salts, maybe.
Okay. Uh-huh.
They're not the same. And it seems like they can cause more digestive issues if you're not used to them. So you kind of start slow and build up. So since I had not been used to them, my body just kind of flushed them right through, and I saw zero rise in my ketones. So there you go. Because I really wanted to like try a full serving to see what a full serving would do to my ketones. It did nothing to my ketones. There you go. But if you're constipated, it might help with that.
That is funny. That is really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So overall, we have seen some variations for our ketones, and we are excited to get the opportunity in the future to see more testing through for our individual selves and share that with y'all.
Yes.
So
Just for fun and for information. Like I still am in the camp of you do not need to have high ketones in order to lose weight or to be healthy, or like we're doing this not because we think that if we reach the goal of having these high ketone levels that the clouds will open and it'll be all sunshine and rainbows. Maybe it will, like that would be cool, but we're mostly doing it for fun and just experiment purposes and just to see what happens. It's like maybe we get our ketones up to 2.0 and we do feel like the clouds open, then we'll share that with you guys. But that's not like what we're expecting, and that's not what we're saying that anyone else needs to achieve. Like whatever you're doing, if it's working for you, like stick with it. Don't chase ketones for the sake of chasing ketones.
Yes.
And if you enjoy watching our crazy experiments, then cool.
We are happy to have
that's what we're doing it for.
Okay, so let's set that aside. I feel like we've missed lots of things here in the chat, and it warms
chatting.
my heart that everybody is chatting and talking with one another. And okay, one thing did catch my eye, and that was my husband is actually in the chat.
What?
And he said, Neely, vegetables will kill you. Tread lightly.
I know. I'm already dead. I am already dead. I mean, there's no other way. No other explanation, because I have eaten plants. I am dead.
You are dead. Full stop. Full stop. But make sure you make some of that ice cream with heavy cream, eggs, and cane sugar.
Oh yeah, but only every once in a while.
Because that won't dead you.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Hey,
not everyone will know what we're referring to, but that's okay.
That's okay.
You had to be there.
I saw one question that you might be able to speak pretty well to, and it's Amber. She asked, doesn't the Lumen kind of work off of cycling?
Yes, it is. Their approach is more macro cycling in order to get your body to burn fat and then burn carbs, but they don't take ketosis into the equation at all. So they're trying to get you to burn fat, burn carbs, and go back and forth without ever getting into ketosis. So for me, that did not make sense in my brain, and it did not work with my lifestyle and my preference of diet. So it was not for me. So if you are a person that wants to burn fat but is opposed to being in ketosis, the Lumen would be a good tool for you. There you go.
Yeah, I found your experimentation with that to be very interesting. There is Tammy over at Keto Chaos or Keto in
Yeah,
the Chaos, and
yeah.
she played with the Lumen quite a bit as well. Now she's
Okay.
no longer like strict hardcore keto. She
Right.
does do a lot of cycling and a lot of adding in of carbs and things like that. So I think like if you are someone who feels you need to have carbs in order to feel like your quality of life is at the place you want it, then maybe a Lumen could be a useful tool in your toolbox. But
Yeah.
I didn't ever really feel like a strong desire to go try it out. And then the
Yeah.
findings you had kind of like solidified that for me. I feel like
Yeah.
the low carb thing, the keto thing for me is just second nature at this point, that
Yeah.
it's almost a non-event in my life that, you know,
Yeah.
it's impossible for me to unknow the things that I know now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's sort of where I rest in that.
Yeah.
Um,
And health coach Kate did some Lumen stuff a
oh,
year or
did
two ago
she?
as well. But the struggle I have is I feel like a lot of people that get started with it, like me when I first got started with it,
Hmm.
they did not know the limitation of it not
Sure,
working in ketosis. And so if they don't know that, it's like the information that they're giving, it's like they're missing a really important piece. And it's not that it's anything negative about them. It's I wish that the company would be more forthcoming about that limitation
for sure, for sure.
because it is. So, anyways, a lot of people have info about it, but if they're missing that one piece of information, it's like it's really hard to learn a lot from what they share, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Good to have
anyway,
knowledge to have there.
yes, I was gonna say I love that. Let's see, it was
Nicole,
Nicole D,
yeah,
was saying that she's just starting keto and she was asking for advice, and everyone in the comments has just been giving her suggestions and advice. I love that.
yeah,
I love
I
that.
do too so very much. Also, Nicole, if you're still in here, consider going over to Two Crazy Ketos. They have
Yeah,
a Mighty Networks that is totally free to participate in. And there are tons of people in there that are happy to give you some more targeted guidance and advice. They have a fantastic community over there. I appreciate Rickwin that you have been, you know, giving her some steady encouragement here too just now. I love that so very much. So there's loads of opportunity for you to find, you know, people that you connect with in this keto space. And over at Two Crazy Ketos, they're just amazing at all
yeah,
the community things, in my opinion.
yes, and with people that are just getting started, like they're
Absolutely.
amazing for that. Yeah, so I sometimes I struggle with like sharing all of our crazy experiments and like just sharing my journey because I don't want people who are 4 days in to feel like they have to do all of these things. Like I have to get a CGM, I have to get a CKM, I have to do these cycling, I have to, like
I have
it's
to have
so much
all the
and
products.
you don't.
Right.
And so it's like, but I don't feel like my channel is meant to be a person's place to find
Starting
all of
place.
the info to get started on keto. Like that's not the focus of my channel, but I
Yeah.
feel like Two Crazy Ketos, that is a very big focus. Like they do share their own journey and things, but that is a really big focus of theirs. And it's like a ministry of theirs, and they're so good at it. Like the encouragement and the motivation, and just they lay out all the info as well. And so
Hmm.
I am really, really happy to send people to them as far as like getting all of the nitty gritty details of how to get started, how to keep it simple, and how to just like get the encouragement you need in order to keep going. So I am in the Mighty Network of the Two Crazy Ketos, and Lindsey, you are as well. So
Am.
if anybody ever has questions for us and they want to tag us, you are able to tag us in there.
Hmm.
So, anyways, that's my little caveat is like I do all these crazy experiments and things for fun and for keep it interesting, but I don't want that to confuse the new people
Yeah.
And don't look at me as if I am someone who's teaching you all the steps that you need to do. I'm just sharing my journey, and it can be entertaining, and maybe you get ideas from it, maybe not. But it's just meant for entertainment purposes, not for teaching a class of what you need to do.
Right. And ditto on that. That's another thing that we twin on. You do better at recipe experimentation than I do. But I also am not the person that would be able to say, like, this is kind of a meal plan on how you get started for for your first 2 weeks of trying to engage in a low carb keto way of life. And
Yes.
there are so many people out there that do that so much better than me that I'm going to
Yeah.
choose not to, and sort of stay in my lane. And that's, like, anybody can tell you what to do. But finding the people that you can actually receive that information from is really, really tricky. And I think the Two Crazy Ketos do a fantastic job of just giving you
Totally.
some no nonsense, easy to digest
Mhm.
information that can just help you to really embrace this lifestyle to the best of your ability until you can do better as you know more, but at least to get launched they're a really good resource to use.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chris Bear is here. Finished
And
his
so is
meeting. I'm so
we
glad.
missed Amy.
And Amy's here. Yes, I saw Amy. Sherry Watkins is here. We met her at
Yeah.
KetoCon. And of course, we met Rick Wynn and we met Cindy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cindy even made a
Lots
cameo
of
on my channel.
people. Oh, yeah, yeah. So Blaze said that we should try Dr. Boz's latest product, which is the pucker. And I am interested in trying that with the CKM, because it's more like a shot thing. I'm
Okay.
not into like the 16 ounces of water. It's like, let's just get it over as fast as possible. But yeah, maybe I'll look into ordering some of that so I can have it to
Try.
test. And I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know anything about it, so I wonder if it would have the same digestive things. Maybe I should like work myself up to it before I get the CKM, but that sounds painful. I just hate taking exogenous ketones. They're so
They're,
awful.
they're really rough. But what if you were to do like an MCT oil buildup? Like a
Yeah, I could do
teaspoon
that.
on day 1 and day 2, and then day 3 you take 2
Yeah.
teaspoons and then a full, kind of just like work your way up. I wonder if
Yeah.
that would help your digestive system.
Yeah. Not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. Okay.
It's very,
Let's see.
very sad.
What else have we missed
Oh,
here?
Alan is here. I missed
Um,
you, Alan.
oh,
Hello.
Alan's here.
Chris is having all kinds of just like shenanigan attitudes. Like he didn't miss Amy. Well, look at you, bless.
Michelle early on was saying about the weather we're having because she's from the same area I am.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, we had some thunderstorm stuff yesterday, but then like this next week it's supposed to get up to like the 90s and be absolutely gorgeous. So I am very thrilled about that. And then Michelle also said, as a stroke warrior, I am using MCT, the C8 and C10, based on the info from Dr. Boz regarding ketones, cognitive improvement, and brain healing. I use a different device to measure my ketones. Yeah, like that's
Awesome.
amazing. I'm so glad. Like I think the CKM is going to be the most valuable for that kind of person that
For
really
sure.
like cancer treatment and
Mhm.
all of those kinds of things where you need to get into that deep state of ketosis. Like I'm excited for that
Oh yeah.
for sure.
That'll be fantastic.
And
Chris is,
somebody else asked a little bit ago about the cost of the CKMs. And
yeah.
do you remember how much it was for one? Like I think it's like $50 right now.
Right now on the Indiegogo website or the Kick Booster or however they have it labeled, I want to
Yeah,
say you can buy a single one at the Kickstarter Indiegogo price of like $49. You can
that
get
sounds
two
right.
for less than 90. I kind of kicked myself that I didn't jump in on the $360 for 12 of them, I was thinking, man, I could do a full monthly cycle and then wait like a quarter or half the year and then do it again. But I'm sure there's some kind of, expiration date on them at some point. But I was
Yeah.
kicking myself that I
Yeah.
didn't jump on that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and it
okay.
seems like the CKM is a little bit lower price point than a CGM. And I think probably the reason is that it's not a prescription is not required. Like I
Very
have not seen anything about a prescription being required for a
possible.
CKM, which I think that's great. I don't think CGMs should require a prescription. I think anyways, that's a whole other topic, but I think that's probably why it's a little bit cheaper. So I mean, it's not nothing. It's still an expense, but it is accessible, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and if you got two of them to see what a full month looked like for yourself, 28 days, $90. That's less than what I've seen a lot of the CGMs. And I know that there are different ways that you can go about getting prescriptions from your own doctor and that sort of thing with the CGM. And there's a bunch of different services using CGMs like NutriSense, which does make it, a possibility for people to acquire. But I think being able to like get the two at the $90 price tag would be really useful for most people to be able to test what they want to test and then just execute that. I felt like 2 weeks, like my head was swimming with all of the different ideas, and I kind of had a
Yeah.
little bit of decision paralysis. Like, which do I
Yeah.
choose next? How do
Well,
I
and
map it?
we even had like a few days of travel where we weren't even really able to test a lot. And so it was even
Yeah,
shorter than 2 weeks that we had.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Very, very true. Okay. Chris Bear said, "Oh, I've tried to do an MCT buildup. Unrelated, but I had installed a bidet the week before."
Is it unrelated
Arguably,
or is
no.
it related?
While correlation doesn't always mean causation, I think it
Oh, wow.
might.
Yeah. Oh, I remember like years and years ago when I first started using MCT oil, I made an MCT oil mayo
Yeah.
and like made a dip out of it. And I was just like, enjoying my veggies with my homemade dip. Yeah,
I tell
I
you what,
learned my lesson quick.
if you ever have somebody who is struggling in the department of digestion,
Yeah,
offering them something to that effect might really help aid them in that
yeah.
difficult time.
It's a very natural choice to get
It
things
is.
moving.
Mm-hmm. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, let's see. Let's see.
Teresa's here. Hello. Oh,
Oh,
I've
yes,
been
and we met
told.
Teresa at
We
KetoCon as
sure
well.
did. We sure
Yep.
did.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
I've been told by my husband that I do a lot of like singing and whatnot in my
Yeah.
live streams because
Mhm.
in my videos I can actually snip that out, and
Mm.
it's hard to do that in a live stream.
Yeah,
So
you can.
forgive me if I have like that as sort of like a instead of an it's a
Yeah.
song.
Yes.
Forgive me. I'm trying to pull it back. I'm trying,
Okay.
but I
It's
just
okay.
realized that
It's
I did.
endearing. It's endearing.
Oh,
Let's see. Let's see.
Blaze asked, "Do you think butter mayo could be used to make a dairy-free ranch dressing?" I do think that that would be possible. I don't know. I know that when Joe made the butter mayo that was triple B and E friendly or compliant, it does get really hard in the fridge. So I don't know how you would go about ensuring that it would stay like dressing consistency once you put it in the fridge, or how you would navigate that once it came out of the fridge. It would probably, I don't know how you would make it into like a dip or like something that you could easily spread over top of things. But that is a
Hmm.
fascinating question that needs a little bit more testing, I think. But
Mm.
that's a great idea.
Let's see. Amber says I need to get on and order some keto chow. Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Just got a Ninja Creamy for a doorbuster price at Sam's Club. That's gonna be awesome. Yep.
the creamy is so
Yep.
great. So
Yeah,
great.
on my what I eat in a day video, I just posted this morning. I showed having raspberry cheesecake keto chow ice cream on Levi's birthday because he had his birthday steak and then he had his birthday cake, and it was a strawberry cake with cream cheese frosting. And so Jeff and I split a keto chow raspberry cheesecake ice cream, and
That's fantastic.
we didn't feel like we missed out at all.
That's awesome. I love the
Yeah.
cream for stuff like that. I was literally telling a couple of my mom friends today that one of my friends, she had gotten, her husband gave her one of those like froyo kind of machines. I don't know what it's called, but it's like it takes frozen bananas and turns it into froyo.
Oh
And she
yeah.
was so excited about it because she would be cutting out a lot of sugar for the kids. And I'm like, uh-huh, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. And
mm,
she said they were just now, like her bananas were super ripe. So she popped them in the freezer so they could do that. And I'm like, the riper those get, the higher the concentration of fructose in
right.
them is in them. And so she's like, yeah, but it's natural sugar. That doesn't count. And I'm like, yep. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Okay.
Cane sugar is not natural?
I just, like, it's one of those things where you want to share and overload information because you have so much of it trapped in your skull at the same
Yes.
time being able to meter yourself in a loving way and just kind of like trickle out little bits of information, like a few breadcrumbs
Mhm,
here, and if they pick up those breadcrumbs and ask better, like not better questions but more involved questions, then
mhm.
allowing them to like let the conversation happen naturally instead of just being a Kia, which
Yeah.
is our acronym for a know-it-all. And
Oh.
so I did my best, but I said to them, I was like,
Mhm,
yeah, for Christmas, I gave Jared the Ninja Creamy last year, not this Christmas, but a year ago and 6 months Christmas. I gave him the
mhm.
Creamy, and I said, I've been able to make ice creams with all kinds of stuff, and using like eggs, scrambled eggs, as the base for an ice cream is actually like really legit. And they were like, the things you do with eggs, because I've mentioned eggs numerous times to them, and they're
Yeah.
like, I don't know how you do all these things with eggs. I'm like, it's really
Uh, ah,
received
there you are.
with enthusiasm. It was a little bit of disgust, a bit of like morbid curiosity. So we'll just,
Yeah.
we'll just keep floating along that river until we reach the next landing spot to
Yeah.
part
Well, yes,
something.
yesterday I was experimenting with some recipes, and I have one that's coming soon. I posted on Instagram, tamale pie, like
Oh,
with a kind of something similar to a cornmeal, batter.
I hear
Anyway,
where
so
you're going.
I'm making this stuff, and the kids and Jeff were just mocking me relentlessly, with all of my experiments. And I was like, okay, which one of us has 126,000 people who have subscribed to their channel to see what they do in the kitchen? Is it you?
That's right. And it's actually not 126, it's 127.
But whatever. I lost count. But it's just so funny. It's like I have, over 100,000 people that have subscribed to my channel to see these crazy experiments I do. Yet in my real life, I have to endure the mocking, the relentless mocking. It's pretty hilarious. It keeps me humble, I guess.
I will pray for your hardship.
Oh my gosh, it's so
So
funny.
good.
What
It's
what a,
so
what a crazy
good.
life, right? What a crazy life.
It's
Oh,
fantastic.
Jack is here. She made it while we were still on.
We're still here. I don't know for how
Yeah.
many more minutes, but we're
Yeah.
still here. Um,
Um,
I did it again. Stink.
see, I'm starting to do it now. When I look at the comments, I'm like, okay. Chris says it's not easy being a YouTube influencer. Very, very true.
I am
Like,
not an influencer.
we're such victims.
Sharing thoughts that my husband, he's like, I've heard these thoughts already. Can you find a new outlet?
Yep, that's the best way to get into it.
I mean,
Uh,
I I'm gonna be listening for the singing from now on. There are other people who've mentioned the singing. They seem to be a little bit less irritated than what. I don't think my husband was irritated. I think he was just like, I don't know if you're aware of this little thing that you do, but you may not appreciate that you do it all the time. And I'm like, I had no clue.
yes.
Zero clue.
Uh, all right, let's see. Any important comments we need to address
They're
before we get off? I have to go to the bathroom so bad.
they're all important, but any pressing issues we have to say something to. Diddy dum. 76 trombones led the big parade.
You look at
Well,
the comments. I'm gonna run to the bathroom so we don't have to like rush off because we
okay.
still have 10 minutes. I'll be right back. Don't say
Okay.
anything interesting without me.
Hey y'all, what if we just pretended to freeze right here to just throw her off? Or what if we set up some kind of a little timer to see how long it takes her to run to the restroom and then come back? Should we ask whether or not she washed her hands? What kind of things can we troll Neely about? Oh my stars, Chris. It's a good thing Neely isn't using a wireless mic. How do we know? If it was wireless, it would not have tongued on the phone. Okay, Amy, you're right. I definitely rub off on people. I'm not entirely positive that it's in the best way. So there's that. Um, let's see here. Teresa, you can only say so much. Her sister laughed at her when she said she was trying to control her blood sugar. That's the thing of it, isn't it? Just it's once you understand something and you've got, oh my word.
Whew, I feel so much better. Okay, so I'm on a lean day today, and that makes me have to pee so much.
Ah,
I don't know what the deal is with that, but
what color is your soap?
what color is my soap?
You'll have to watch the replay. That's just what Chris told me to ask you.
I think it's clear. Lemon
Clear is the
mint or something. It's
appropriate
natural.
thing. Is it from Mrs. Myers? Is it lemon verbena?
No, it's
Jay Watkins or something like that?
I don't remember. It's from Target. It's their whatever. Anyways,
Okay.
this is not important.
It's applicable to the jokes I made while you were gone.
Okay, excellent. Wow.
It's great. It's great.
Okay, anyways, you were talking to somebody about something important and I interrupted it. Go ahead.
I was just telling Teresa, or talking about, expounding on what Teresa said about how she shared with her own sister that she was trying to control her own blood sugar and her sister laughed at her for that. It is so hard when you learn these things and then you try to implement them and you notice positive changes and then you want to share that whenever you have some kind of a positive experience or a negative experience. You want to share that so that you can, I don't know if protect is the right word for it, but at least give others the knowledge so that they can improve their own lives. And sometimes it just floats like a lead balloon. It doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't go over too well.
People have to be ready to hear it. So
Wait a minute. Cindy told me to ask you what color your soap was.
oh, Cindy. Okay. It's clear.
There we are. Clear as mud.
Oh,
I used to have teachers tell me that all the time. Okay, is that clear as mud? Yep.
mm-hmm.
It's excellent.
Jack says, wow, that was fast. Woman with kids knows how to do that. It's very true. Oh man.
You just execute and you move on with your life because somebody needs it from you all the time.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking like at the grocery store or something when you have all the kids with you and you're like, but I have to go to the bathroom right now. And you can't. Yeah. You just have to go as fast as you can.
Yep. All the things you learn as your life circumstances put different challenges in front of you.
Yes. Let's see.
Okay. Any recipes for ideas for a friend who wants to make empanadas?
Yeah,
And
fathead dough.
yeah, I think somebody did mention fathead dough as a valid option. That's definitely a good thing to try. Chris said that. He lived in
Mm,
Chile for a few years.
wow, that's cool.
Okay, Ilga, you suggested adding MCT oil to the butter. Are you referring to Blaze's question about butter mayo turned into ranch dressing? That was
I
that
was thinking that as well. It's like maybe do part butter, part another oil that's liquid, and that would help the end product stay more liquid.
sure? But I also don't know if Blaze's intention was to make it purely carnivore, minus the spices. So I don't know what the intent behind
Yeah,
the
yeah.
butter mayo versus just using like your own regular avocado oil mayo or something to that effect. I didn't know
Right.
sort of what the intention behind it was.
Yes. All right.
Cindy, her husband told her in Disney when someone went to the bathroom, they would ask the person what color the soap is. And if they couldn't answer, they were shamed. Shame on you. Shame on
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Makes sense.
That is funny.
Well,
All
I
the soap,
bought this soap, so it doesn't work in your own home.
definitely not. All of the soap
Oh,
that is
that's
hand
funny.
soap or dish soap, except for like we have one bottle of Blue Dawn for, like industrial situations,
Yeah.
cleaning paint or something like that. Everything else is
Yeah.
all clear, color free soap. So
Hmm.
that's
There you
always,
go.
always going to be the answer in my house. Clear soap.
Funny.
All right.
Too funny.
Blaze said yes, an all carnivore ranch dressing. I mean, clearly,
Mm,
once you add those seasonings, it's going to not be,
spices.
but carnivore adjacent.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
close enough for horseshoes.
Yeah.
Fast orange is
I was
pretty
laughing
scary.
with Jeff about my recipes last night because I was making tamales. And I was like, "You want a tamale?" He's like, "Yeah, but there aren't any here." And I was like, "Yeah, but they're tamale adjacent."
I love the
He's
phrase.
like, "Yeah, I'd like a tamale, but I don't want to drive that far."
Good
What
time.
what we have to endure.
I know. Good old
Mm,
Jeff. I tell you what, I had a great
yeah,
time being able to spend that time with you and Jeff in Austin and just like get like you hear your little snippets of him and I get
yeah,
little extra snippets from us talking on Marco Polo. But to
yes.
be able to just like be in the same room together and just sort of see how he interacts is just
Mhm.
priceless. Priceless
Yeah,
knowledge.
that was very fun to get to know Jared as well, and to like, yeah, it's like now
It,
we know each other's husbands not just through
our eyes,
our yeah.
one another's interpretations of husband.
Yes, yes, and that I think that's a good thing.
I
Yeah,
agree.
that was super fun. We had so much fun hanging out, doing double dates, and we didn't even have kids around. Like that
I
was
know it
amazing.
was bizarre. Although I do
That
feel like our
never happened.
children would get along gangbusters. So
Oh, they would so much.
we're gonna
They
have to
would.
figure out how to come out to the West Coast to be able to come see Squatternush Farms.
Yes,
Point. It's got to be a
that would
thing.
be so fun. That would be so fun. Yeah, because see, now we know each other and their spouse, but now we need to like experience family being together. I mean, that's just like the next level in the progression. So,
I mean, if we're ever going to live like on a compound together in the future, so we can all farm together and play off of
mhm,
one another's strengths, like we do need to see if the families mesh.
we do. I mean, it's important for science.
For science, it's all for science.
Oh, goodness.
So great. Okay, it's been an hour,
It
and
has.
I need to go make sure children have been staying focused on their school lesson work because
Yeah.
that is a primary focus in this house. Um, during the daytime on the weekdays. Any day that ends in Y, it's an education opportunity, but this time it's actually just like book work.
Yeah.
So, we next week will be over on Neely's channel. We do the back and forth thing. That way we can take turns not having to be responsible for remembering to set this up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, make sure. I mean, I'm 100% convinced that everybody who is watching this is already subscribed to Neely. So make sure you got that reminder button clicked so you know, like, we're about to go live next Tuesday at 10
Yep.
a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And
Yep.
yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you next time.
All right. Sounds
I
good.
will pass to both channels. This is getting
What?
complicated. Did you see?
You're going to have to tell us about how that works, because with just the YouTube go live together, last I checked, it only showed up on one channel. But if you have a way to do it, I want to hear it. That would be really cool.
But also, I need it to be like wicked simple where I just click a button and move forward with my life.
There must be some different software
Possibly.
that is necessary.
Possibly.
Which that would be cool to be able to do at some point. But yeah, we're pretty low tech.
We're really content with being able to just sit here on the YouTubes together.
So now that I'm thinking about it, I know that Joe and Rachel and Keto Show have done lives at the same time, and it goes on both. So there is a way. They need to teach us, give us a master class. Give us a master class on all of the technical things about YouTubes.
But not just a master class, set it up for us to where we just have to like click the right button one time and it just automatically does all the things for us.
Chris doesn't have anything else to do, so I'm sure he'll take the time to do that.
I mean, it would be an act of service
in
his free time that he clearly has a bunch of.
Yeah. He's probably bored anyway. Needs something to keep him busy.
He's for sure bored. He only has 6 kids and a wife. It's fine. It's fine.
And only a business.
It's totally normal. Nothing outlandish.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. We're done. We will see you next week over on Neely's channel. And until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.